Okay, as of right now, the base is prepped and ready. I still have to clean the ends a little bit, and I'm going to do that before I mount anything on it. Because, well, I didn't sand that incredibly well, so it's a little on the dirty side. But you can see the edges are good. It's fairly level. Plaster base means I can drill into it, I can glue to it, I can do what I want to it, unlike wood. So I can put my little apartment building down here at the end, Guntank in the middle, I have a parking lot. It's going to sit like that. The Guntank's going to sit partially on the parking lot. I have a roadway leading up to the parking lot, so we'll have some room for some trees and other stuff in here. Give it a good scale size. The roof needs a little bit of attention up there, but I figured out how to fix it, and I'm going to fix that next because I'm kind of stuck waiting on the building. The Guntank itself just needs a tiny bit of detail work, and it is done. So let me get going on this because I have until tomorrow at midnight to have everything done, photos uploaded for the contest. Now, this video is going to get up well after the end of the contest. Today is the 8th, I think, or the 9th. It would be the 9th because contest, yeah, it's the 9th. We're the 9th at 11 a.m. Contest ends 10th at midnight, so I have some time yet. I shouldn't have any trouble. Well, the Guntank will be finished. That's not going to be the issue. The issue is going to be finishing the base. Okay? And we have a Tomodachi cleaning himself. That never helps because that gets cat hair everywhere. And my workspace is a freaking mess. We have fake rocks over there. We have tank treads. We have micron pens out. All sorts of fun stuff. Pigments. Grease, which I don't need anymore, so I'm going to put it back. This grease is for helicopters, actually. And there's a helicopter down there in that big case, this one, that I never fly. And I need to rectify that. After flying this guy around a lot, I've gotten where I should be able to fly the helicopter. And I need to get the little helicopters out some more. But anyhow, just letting you know where we're at, where we're sitting. I'm working on the building right now. I've already done a little bit of weathering on the building. I'm going to add just a little bit more to give it some age, but not much. Get the roof fixed, paint it, and it's done. I do have some drain pipes for it, and I'm not sure if I'm going to actually add the drain pipes. That's optional at this point, I think. I'm missing one of the drain pipes, so they may not get added. I'll be back in a bit. Okay, after talking to the wife, I am not going to put the drain pipe on the building. She just said, no, that's a little too much, so I'm not going to bother with it. So I'm going to give it just a little bit more weathering with a couple of different colors, and the building is done. Okay? So, well, the roof's got to be fixed, but the roof has very little fixing to do. So the building will be done. I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, Mr. Guntank has had what detail painting he's going to get. So let's bring him over. Okay? So we can take a look. Now, I'm going to zoom that a bit because the camera's way too far away. You guys can't see much, guys and gals, because I know there's at least one woman subscribed who comments regularly. Anyhow, I do have one thing, a little paint niggle I got to fix right there. Okay? I'm going to get that. I'm going to hit him with the oil paints. Now, the oil paints won't be dry by the end of the contest, but that's okay. I'm not going to handle him a whole lot. I'm not going to hit him very hard with oil paints because, to me, it looks really good as it is, and I don't really see the point of getting it too much worse. There's a few spots, like around these bolts right here and around the bolts right here that need to be just a little bit darker, and maybe along the edges there and there. And I got one decal that's a little too shiny right there. That's actually a sticker, not a decal. I didn't pull all the stickers off of it. So I'm going to hit it with some oil paints. Now, when you do some oil paints, and I don't know if I'm going to videotape this because I've done that plenty and you guys have seen that plenty. These things are kind of expensive. Like, this is a $10 bottle of tube of oil paint. I tend to go to my big box hobby shop when it has sales on these things, so I don't pay full price for them. Like, if you just wait, Hobby Lobby, that's my local big box. We have a Michael's here too. The names of these stores are different parts of the country. They will, I mean, these are, again, they're $10, $11 a tube, but they will have a sale that says 40% off oil paint. That's when I buy my oil paint. So 40% off 10 means I'm paying $6 for it. And I'm going to be honest with you, I've had this tube of oil paint for 5 years, and I've used almost none of it. And I use this on almost every single model. So it is an investment, but it's an investment that lasts a long time. This isn't going to go away quickly. This isn't like I'm making a painting. I'm using a toothpick at a time of this stuff. Okay? Now, what a lot of people do is they like to let this sit on cardboard to wick out some of that oil. I don't know if I've got time for that right now, so I may not do so. I know that speeds up drying, but I'm using such a thin layer of it, it's not even going to be funny. I did invest in one of these at the Hobby Lobby. It was a couple of bucks. It's aluminum. I can clean it very well with any thinner or solvent I want. It's not disposable that way. A lot of times people have them disposable. And the other thing you need if you're going to work with oil paint is something like turpenoid. Something that will thin the oil paint. And that turpenoid is specifically for oils and varnishes. Okay? It's oil colors and varnishes. So it works really well with the oil paints. It thins them down really good. Now, this has a lacquer clear coat all over it, all the way around. The oil paint is inert to that lacquer clear coat. It won't damage it. It won't get in there. It won't anything. So I'm good. The other tools I use are my fingers. Okay, I like to smear things with my fingers when I'm dealing with oil paint. I like toothpicks. I use toothpicks a lot with oil paints. I use the round ones, not the flat ones. That's just personal preference. And I use these beauty Q-tip thingies. You get them in the beauty aisle. Okay? Cosmetic applicators, they call them. I haven't found this one with this case in a long time, but I just buy them and refill the case because I like having the case. Okay? So there you go. I'm going to get started on this. You just thin the oil paints down. Now, oil paints work the same way as some of these enamel washes that some of you are buying from AK Interactive and a few of these other companies. I just don't like using those. I'd rather use oil paints because that's what I'm used to. The big difference between oil paint and those washes is that oil paints can take a week to cure. Those washes cure up in an hour. So they're quicker. And that's why people like to use them. I don't, because they're quicker. And if I make a mistake, I can't remove my mistake. Okay? So, let me get started on the oil paint. It won't take that long. I might videotape parts of the process so you guys can follow along. But I have to clear this area up some because it's kind of dirty right now. I'll be back in a bit. Alright, everyone. I have prepared myself. Here's my tray with my oil paints on it. I've got my Q-tips at hand. I got a bunch of dirty ones I'm throwing to the side. And like I said, my workspace has gotten pretty dirty. It needs a severe cleaning, and it's getting it today or tomorrow. So I got my Q-tips at hand. I'm going to go get a little brush because I'm going to do some of this with a brush. And oil paints are pretty good on brushes. That's not the brush I want. There. Now I got two different brushes. Okay? So, we're going to grab Mr. Guntank. Now I got one spot, and I got more oil paint out here than I need. Okay? I got one spot that I'm going to need to do some kind of serious dirtying on. So I'm going to take my brush, and I'm getting a little bit of the oil paint, and I don't like to work full on with the oil paint. I like to thin it some. So I got it thinned here. Now, I have a spot on Mr. Guntank right here where the paint chipped off a little bit, and I'm going to hit it with that. Now, that's dirtying it up far too much. Everyone can see that, and that's where the Q-tips come in at times. And I can reduce that effect some. Okay? And the oil paint I'm using right here is a grayish color, and it's pretty close to the same color as the, well, it's darker than the Guntank itself, but it's not too horribly bad. And if I play with it enough, I'll get it where I want it. And it's slowly starting to turn the way I want it. I'm stopping for a second because, well, my eyes aren't as good as they used to be, and I'm not wearing my cheater glasses. There we go. Now I can see just a little bit better. I don't mind some streaking in that, because dirt is kind of random. My big problem is it's dirtying up the side too much. So I dip my Q-tip in the thinner and clean up the side of this. There we go. Now that's looking better. It's looking a little less painty and more randomy. And that's what I want. I want it to look a little on the dirty side. So see, the brush isn't always the best applicator. Sometimes the Q-tip is. And I'm just thinning out my paint a little bit with my Q-tip. And if I take my Q-tip and just dot it a little, and you will see this on some videos on the internet where they will do that. They will take and dot the paint a little bit. And I have it too thick. And it smears on too heavily. But again, I'm using oil paints. And the beauty of oil paints is a little bit of thinner. And you reduce it a lot. You reduce its strength an awful lot like that. Okay? And I can try again. If I get it where I don't like it, I just erase and try again. Now I know I'm getting some of it over here, which is fine. I want to get some of it over in here. I want to dirty up these bolts here a little bit. And it's fine with me if I do it like that. Okay? And if I can get it thin enough with my brush, see, that's what you're getting when you do those enamel washes. When some of you do those enamel washes, you're getting pretty close to what I'm getting right there. Okay, so you can see you can vary the effects up. You can use a brush to thin this stuff, pull it around. Hopefully this is showing on camera. I'm slightly off frame right there. And I'm going to have to pull the camera up, rearrange things a little bit for you guys to see it better in a minute. And I lost part of my pre-shading. I know I did. I painted a little too heavily, and this helps restore some of that pre-shading goodness in spots. Okay, let me show you what I'm doing here. I'm working on these bolts right here. To me, they are far too clean. So just doing a little bit of this around them. Then I take my toothpick, my Q-tip, and I pull it across them. Now pull them in the direction that water would probably move. And I get what I like out of it. Okay? And if I don't like what I'm getting, well, again, we can just clean it up some more. You got plenty of Q-tips, you got plenty of time, and it can be cleaned up. And I like how that's coming out right now. It's showing a little bit of what I want it to show. Okay? And again, I went through and did this on a few of these bolts over on the side to bring them out a little bit better. And it does. Okay? Same thing with the streaks running around his helmet. They're a little too, they're not pronounced enough. So if I can get this thinned enough, the streaks around the helmet up here, let's see if this works. And then we take our Q-tip. And remove. Now, I'm pulling him off camera because I can't see where it is on camera. And I know it's kind of glossy. It won't dry glossy. It definitely won't dry glossy. And I'm not liking the end result right now.